Hey fellow golfers, I thought to continue the series of reviewing LPGA pros, it would be important to look not only at the career of, but some key lessons that one can take away from the swing and persistence of Danielle Kang. She went into a lull for a couple of years too. She was finding certain tendencies in her swing, which I'll come to in a moment. And she turned to the great Butch Harmon, even though he had already retired. A few months later after that, after he helped her address some key aspects, she won a tournament and then two more the following year. Currently she is first in the CME ranking in 2022 and 6th in the Rolex standings. She's only 28. She's not that tall, 5 foot 6 inches. And yet she has, as a result of a number of key fixes, been able to gain at least 10 to 15 yards off the tee. Incredible. Averaging now around 260 yards. Her driving accuracy is 74%, greens in regulation 72%. She's had 33 rounds in the 60s. She's currently 4th putting average, 7th putting per green in regulation. Absolutely incredible. In 2022, she has already won one tournament and come 2nd in one. And we're just at the start of the year, in the start of the season. So what can we take away from her effort, from her changes, from her swing? You will see a clip of her swing in the background and also some images of her swing position. When she went to Butch Harmon, one of the things he recognized, and she had also realized, is that she had too much lateral move. Why is this also important to recognize? Because so many average golfers, good club golfers even, tend to have a lot of lateral move. Certainly it was one of my problems early on. And so they needed to be able to get her to anchor much better and still improve her shots. She, as a right-hander, was afraid of leaking right in her drives in particular, but also in some of her other iron shots. And part of that was due to that lateral move. So Butch Harmon was not only trying to get her to anchor that back leg, to turn better, to get wider with her arms, and even though she has a big rotation at the top, one of the things that she does to get that full turn is in fact to turn her head. So some of the common advice is to try to keep your head relatively still, covering the ball. But you see how by turning her head as she moves, but not her body, or rather not swaying, she is able to get that wider hip and core turn and shoulder turn. So that has been one of the key signatures in her move. The other key thing you see is that as she comes down, she keeps a very large lag and cocks her wrist more than 90 degrees. And that's key to unleashing that power and therefore the distance she's getting. If you see one or two of the other clips I've done on enhancing your distance, irrespective of what initial distance you are achieving for your swing and your body type and your age and condition, one of the key aspects is cocking that wrist early and letting that stay for quite a significant amount of time as you come down, so that you can unleash it into the swing. So you see that she has a free turn. She uses her arms for speed, by getting width and by cocking the wrists so that she is able to unleash the power. By staying wider, she sets herself up for speed. So that width of that arm, and you see that as she comes through, that back arm remains quite straight. And that gives her also that leverage and width, because with her wrist coming through, you're getting that bigger arc as opposed to if you're folding your arm too much, so your back arm. So keeping that back arm straight helps her set up for speed, but also allows her to shallow her swing, so that it's the body that is coming through that is shallowing her swing. One of the key mistakes a lot of amateurs make is that while they get that turn and they set themselves up for that, they pivot too much across and then either hook, pull the ball, or depending on their face position, slice it to the right as a right-hander. So she brings her arm down as she moves through that straight position, and of course as you come through, you let your arms go through. So 4 things to perhaps take away: free the turn, having angle for speed, staying wide, and then delivering the speed. Now without the lateral move. Hence a major turnaround in her results, and of course as a result in her confidence. 4 great things that we can all think about in our movement for whatever swing we have, for whatever speed we currently have. Try to think about those elements and perhaps mimic them to see if they work for you, to give you greater speed, greater accuracy, as a result, better performance, and of course, greater enjoyment of the game. See you on the flip side, my friend.